Good morning, children. Today we are going to start our new lesson, crop production and management. Crop production and management. Okay. See, in this lesson we are going to study about agriculture, crop, types of crops, and agriculture practices, basic agriculture practices we are going to study about. That is, basic agriculture practices means what are the processes or what are the steps involved in this production of this agriculture, and after that we are going to study about the animal husbandry. Okay, so first let's start with agriculture. So what is meant by agriculture? Agriculture means the science of farming is called agriculture, and farming includes cultivation of plants and rearing of animals for food and another beneficial items. So science of farming is called agriculture, and farming involves cultivation of plants and rearing of animals. So plants are cultivated and animals are reared not only for the food, and they are reared for another beneficial items. Okay, so like example is like, see, if we see one sheep, so now I am rearing one sheep. So here the sheep is reared not only for the production of the food, that is the meat, it is reared for the wool also. Here wool is commercial. Okay, so here I am rearing animal for the food and for the beneficial items, that is called agriculture. Okay, now next definition or next word is crop. What is meant by crop? So when plants of same kind are grown and cultivated at one place on a large scale commercially are known as crop. If we see in our garden, or if we see any of the place, if we see in our garden, so many kind of crops are, so types of crops in India. So basically our country, it is based on the crop only, that means farming only. Okay, so in India different crops are grown, and the crops which is grown in India, it can be divided into two main types. That is, they are grown in the first type of crops is kharif crops. Some of the crops are kharif crops and some of the crops are rabi crops. Okay, so which type of crops are known as kharif crops is kharif crops, the crops which are grown in rainy season. Such type of crops are known as kharif crops. So kharif crops are grown in rainy season, that is during monsoon. So this kind of crops, they are generally sown during the months of June and they are harvested in the months of September. Okay, so these kharif crops, they requires high temperatures and plenty of rainfall, that is water, to grow properly. So such type of crops are known as kharif crops, and examples of kharif crops are paddy, maize, soybean, groundnut, etc. are examples of these kharif crops. Okay, once again I am repeating, the crops which are sown or the crops which are grown during rainy season, they are known as kharif crops, and these kharif crops, they are sown in the month of June and harvested in the month of September. Next, second type of crops is some of the crops are known as rabi crops. So what are rabi crops is, here the crops are grown in rainy season are known as kharif crops, and coming to the rabi crops, the crops which are grown in the month during the winter season, such type of crops are known as rabi crops. Usually kharif crops are sown during June and harvested in the month of September. But coming to the rabi crops, they are sown in the month of October and harvested in the month of March. Here in these kharif crops, they requires high temperature and plenty of water for their growth. But coming to these rabi crops, they requires only mild temperature and moderate water to grow properly. So in kharif crops, if you see, they are grown during the rainy season. Why they are grown during the rainy season means, for their growth it requires high temperature and plenty of rainfall. But rabi crops, they does not require high temperature, they require only mild temperature and they requires only moderate water. Once again you can see that in rainy season availability of water is more, but coming to the winter season the availability of water is the availability of water is less. Okay, so Kharif crops are grown during rainy season only and Rabi crops are grown during winter season. And examples of these Rabi crops are like wheat, gram, mustard, pea. These are some of them. These are These are the examples of the Rabi crops. And paddy is the main Kharif crop and wheat is the main Rabi crop. Now next move to our next topic, agricultural practices. So what is this agriculture practices is various tasks which a farmer needs to do during cultivation of crops collectively are called agricultural practices. That means from sowing the seeds, now I sown the seed. Now only I will not get the plant, or without doing any of the tasks I will not get the plant. So for that it requires so many of the processes, and all the tasks involved in this cultivation collectively are known as agricultural practices. So what are the agricultural practices? Let's see. So activities which are part of agriculture practices are: first step is preparation of soil, second step is sowing, third step is adding manure and fertilizer, fourth step is irrigation, next step is protecting from weeds, and next is harvesting, and finally storage. These are the 7 basic steps involved in this agriculture or cultivation. So once again I am repeating what are the steps is. First step is preparation of soil, second one is sowing, third step is adding manure and fertilizer, next step is irrigation, next protecting from weeds, harvesting, and finally storage. These are the 7 steps involved in this cultivation. So let's see each step one by one. First one is preparation of soil. The first step of cultivation is preparation of soil. This is done by loosening and turning the soil, and here we will use a implement called, or we will use a implement plow is used for this purpose. So first step of preparation. Now see, if you see the soil, now raw soil, if you see this soil, it will be hard. So for cultivation what should happen means, this hard soil, it should be loosened and it should be turned. That means downside should come up, upside should come to down. For this we will use a implement called plow. And significance of plowing. What is the significance of plowing is, so if we plow, what will happen is the soil which is hard, it will become loose, and the loosened soil allows the roots to penetrate deep into the soil and plant grows properly. Not only that, this loosening of soil, it allows the root to breathe easily when they go deep into the soil. Now see, soil is hard. If the soil is hard, root cannot penetrate. If it penetrate also, so it cannot breathe easily deep in the soil because upper layer is very hard. Instead of that, if it is loose, what will happen means, so now roots can easily penetrate into the soil, and when they penetrate into the soil, easily they can breathe because upside the soil is loose, so air can easily penetrate into the soil, and the roots which is deep inside, they also can breathe easily. Next is, so this loosened soil, it allows the root to breathe easily when they go deep into the soil. Not only that, so inside, if you see humus, what is humus? Already we studied. Humus means it is the component, or it is the organic matter which allows the plants to grow properly. We all know that on the top of the soil it contains humus. So and in the humus, nutrients will be there. So upper layer, now I planted or I sown the seeds and plants are growing on the upper layer, humus. So after completion of this crop, again humus will be finished. That means nutrients which is present in the humus are utilized. Now again what will happen when we plow? That means once before I told that loosening and turning of the soil is plowing, no? So now when I loosen and turn the soil, downside soil which is containing nutrients, it will come to the upside, and upside which is soil which is containing less nutrients, it will go down. That means it will turn down. Now the soil which is containing high nutrients, it is on the upside and plant will grow properly. So these are the some significance of the preparation of the soil. And the tools which are used for loosening soil are plow, hoe, cultivator. Like this, some of the tools are used. And what is plow means? Plow, it is made up of wooden shaft, wood. Okay. So in the first, it will contain one rectangular straight bar. To this, it is attached with another rectangular bar. So here, this wooden bar is known as shaft. To this, at the end of the wooden bar, one more wooden bar is attached. So one end of this blunt end, one end of this wooden bar, it is attached with metal plate known as plowshare. Other end, it is containing of handle. So this rectangular wooden bar, it is pulled by the two bullocks. So this is plow. Then next, coming to the hose case. So when we plow also, what will happen means, when we plow, what will happen? The soil will turn upside down and the soil will become loosened. So this loosened soil, it will contain lumps. So all these lumps will be leveled by using a hoe. Now coming to the cultivator. Here cultivator also same to the plow only, but here it is pulled by two bullocks manually. But coming to the cultivator, it is a modern instrument or modern implement which is pulled by the tractor. And here only one plowshare is there. But here this plow shaft, it is made up of not only with wood, it is made up of iron, and many of the blades are fixed to this iron. And when the tractor pulls, a large area is covered or large area is plowed by this cultivator. Okay children, see, in our previous class we studied about preparation of the soil, and next step of the agricultural practice is sowing. Okay, so sowing means, what is meant by sowing? Sowing means seeds are sown in the field after plowing. A farmer needs to separate the damaged seeds from the good seeds. The seeds should be sown at proper gaps. So sowing means, what is sowing means? Scattering of the seeds in the field after plowing is known as sowing. So seeds, see, in the sowing what we will do means, so now the field is there and the field is plowed, that means soil is prepared. Now the prepared soil, in that seeds should be sown. For that, what we'll do means, we will scatter that seeds, we will sow. So for that, farmer, he should do, what should he do means, he should separate the damaged seeds from the good seeds. And not only that, the seeds should be sown in proper gaps and at proper depth from each seed. Okay, then only plants will grow properly. After that, the methods used for sowing are broadcasting, traditional seed drill and model drill. These are some of the implements used for sowing. Okay, here traditional seed drill means same like our plow. So to that, it will contains a neck will be there, and all the hollow tubes will be connected to the metal plate, that is plowshare. So now when the plow is moved, then what will happen? From the neck, all the grains, it will drop in the soil. Okay, so this is traditional, it is used traditionally, that means from olden days it is used. nowadays what is happening means to the cultivator. So like same traditional seed drill only to the cultivator. Cultivator contains many of the plowshares. That means it is containing many of the plowshares, and all the plowshares are connected to a metal neck. So through the metal neck, grains will be dropped, and when the plowshare moves, so the seeds will be sown in the soil and plants will grow. Okay. So our next step is adding manure and fertilizer to the soil. So it is one of the important step. And what is manure is? So already we studied manure is prepared by the decomposition of plant and animal waste. That means, see, now I am having some plant and animal waste, or plant or animal waste. Now waste is there. So all the waste, it will be decomposed at one place, and that soil will become rich with the nutrient, or it is manure. Okay. So that is humus is formed. That is manure. And what are the advantages of manure is? Manure increases nutrients in the soil. So naturally manure increases the nutrients in the soil. Not only increases the nutrients in the soil, it improves soil texture, it improves water retaining capacity of the soil, it is free from any toxic materials, and this is environmental friendly. So manure is environmental friendly. So when the manure is added to the soil, it improves the soil texture, which we know soil texture. There are different layers of the soil. So addition of this manure, it increases the soil texture, and it increases, generally if we see the soil can hold some amount of water. So this adding of this manure, it increases the retaining capacity of the water. So not only this manure, fertilizer also can be added. So what is fertilizer is? Manure is prepared naturally, but coming to the fertilizers are artificial. It is prepared in the factories. Okay. So in manure, it contains many of the nutrients, but coming to the fertilizer, it contains a particular nutrient, or more than that nutrient will be present in the fertilizer, and fertilizers are man-made and they are artificial. Okay. So examples of these fertilizers are like urea, NPK. NPK means nitrogen, phosphate, and potassium. So these are some of the examples of these fertilizers. So coming to the advantages is, so if we see the soil, if the only one particular nutrient is less, so when we add nutrient to that, so plants will grow properly. Not only that, adding of fertilizer, it will give quick results, okay, in less time. But coming to the manure, it give result in, or it will take much more time. But fertilizers will give very quick results. At the same time, not only the advantages, it is containing disadvantages also. What are the disadvantages of fertilizers is? Excess use of fertilizer can make the soil unfertile. Harmful chemicals in fertilizers pollute the soil and groundwater. Okay. See, if we use high amount of fertilizers to the soil, so these fertilizers will make the soil unfertile. And not only that, so in the fertilizer, it is man-made, artificial, no? So it contains many of the chemicals, and some of the chemicals pollute the soil and groundwater. Okay. So not only that, some more natural for enriching the soil with the nutrients. Not only by adding manure and fertilizer, there are some other methods also are there. That is fallow field, crop rotation, etc. are there. So what is fallow field means? Now I am having some particular field is there. So in that particular field, I will not grow any crops for some time. So what will happen in that crop? Many of the unwanted crops or many of the plants will grow, and all the plants will be decomposed there. So it will enrich the soil with the manure, and next crops will grow properly. And crop rotation, it is the method which is used by the farmers from olden days. That is between the two cereal crops. So legumes plants will be grown. We all know legume plants, it is containing legume rhizobium bacteria in the root nodules of these legumes, and this bacteria fixes the nitrogen and enriches the soil with the nutrients. Not only these legumes, between the two plant or two same type of crops, another variety of crop is grown between the crops. That means see, now this time I sown paddy, okay, this season. Next season I will grow some like groundnut, okay. Next again I will grow paddy. That means, so now for this paddy I use some fertilizers and manure, and next for groundnut I no need this much, I no need of adding this much manure and fertilizer. So in that case what will happen means, so the soil, the rhizobium bacteria which is present in these root nodules, it will enrich the soil with the nutrients, and next crop will grow properly, okay. So our next important topic is irrigation. So this is one of the important topic, that is what is irrigation? Irrigation means the supply of water to the crops at different intervals is known as irrigation. So for why should we supply water for the plants is, so plants need plenty of water to grow, and for that how farmers need to supply water to the crops at regular intervals, and this practice is known as irrigation. That means see, now I sown the crops, now crops is there, so for the proper growth it requires water. I want to supply water at different intervals, and the supplying of water at different intervals is known as irrigation. And source of irrigation are tube wells, ponds, lakes, rivers and canals, etc. are the sources of the irrigation. And there are different methods are there, that is, in these traditional methods humans or animal laborers are used for providing the water. So example of the traditional methods are moat, that is pulley system, chain pump system, Dekli and Rahat. They are some of the examples of these traditional methods. Next, coming to the modern method of irrigation is, so modern method of irrigation is, here see, modern method of irrigation is sprinkler system and drip system. These two methods, they are conserve very less amount of the water in the sprinkler system and drip irrigation. See here in sprinkler system what will happen means, so some rows of plants are there, in each row some very small tubes which is containing water, or tubes which will allow the passage of water will be placed, and at some places some nozzles will come out, nozzles are placed. From the nozzles with the pressure water will pump it directly to the root of the plants. Same in drip system, instead of nodules it will contains drips, okay. Importance of irrigation, what is the importance of irrigation is, plants contain nearly 90% of water, and water is essential for proper growth of plants. These are some of the importance of the water. Our next step is protection from weeds, okay. So weed, what is mean by weed? If you see in the crop, not only the crops means they are essential for us, they are providing food for us. So not only the crops, some other unwanted plants also will grow. So these unwanted plants are known as weeds, and this weed should be removed from the plant crop, okay, from the crops. Why means, not only these crops, weeds also will grow. So for the food and for the space, these weeds will compete with the crops. That's why they should be removed. And removing of weeds is called weeding, and this weeding is generally done by, or normally done by, manually or by using a trowel. And not only that, by spraying some chemicals also we can remove the weeds, and that is cause that such type of chemicals are called weedicides. Weedicides are the chemicals which destroy weeds. An example of weedicide is 2,4-D. Next step of the agricultural practice is harvesting. Harvesting involves the cutting of mature crop. Traditionally, harvesting is done by manually by using sickles. Nowadays, we are using combine harvesters. So for harvesting large farms. So what is this combine harvester means? This combine harvester contains harvesting and threshing at one time. Okay. Our last step is of agriculture practices is storage. Proper storage of harvested crop is necessary to prevent damage from the moisture and pests. That means, see, not only growing the plant or growing the crop, so the crop which is harvested also, it should be stored properly from preventing moisture and pests. Otherwise what will happen means the crop which is grown, it will be damaged. So for storing this harvested crop, we will use silos which are of different sizes for storing the grains, and for storing the fruits and vegetables we will use cold storages. Okay, so our last topic is animal husbandry. So what is animal husbandry means? Animals, if we see, animals are important source of food for us. Animals are providing food for us. So animal husbandry means rearing of animals for food and other products is known as animal husbandry. And this is the completion of our topic, and let's see the topic in next lesson in another class. Okay.